Happy Monday and welcome back to my channel. I am beyond excited because I'm in San Diego again. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, last summer I spent a whole month here in San Diego with Suzanne of Wabi Sabi Weaving, home of Saori San Diego. Long story short, in 2019 my mom and I decided to visit the Saori headquarters in Osaka, Japan, just to learn all about Saori weaving. We had 2 weeks of like super intensive study there. While we were visiting the studio, there were also a few other people visiting the studio at the same time, one of which happened to be Suzanne, and we hit it off pretty much immediately. So fast forward a few years and I started making YouTube content. I started going to school for textiles and getting more involved in this whole like fiber textile world. And Suzanne reaches out to me and she's like, hey, do you want to come hang out at my studio as kind of like an internship opportunity? And of course I was like, yes. So I spent an entire month. We had an absolute blast. I recorded pretty much the whole experience and I've just been like itching to come back ever since. So I'm here. I'm here for only a week, but it's okay because our week is going to be absolutely jam-packed with super fun adventures. Tonight we have like a fashion show and tell planned. We're gonna do indigo dyeing, we're gonna weave, we're gonna sew, we're gonna do all kinds of things, and it's gonna be great, and I'm excited to take you along with me. I'm just hanging out here on the beach. I woke up this morning because my brain is still like on East Coast time, so I woke up really early and I just kind of wanted to like go sit in the sun. So I bought like a super cheap beach towel. I got myself a breakfast burrito and an iced coffee, which like are so good. I miss the food in California so much.
This guy really wants some of my burrito. He's just hanging out and staring at me and inching closer.
After my relaxing picnic by the water, I headed over to the Needlecraft Cottage, which is an adorable yarn store here in Pacific Beach, and it's also home to Suzanne's studio. As you could probably imagine, I was so happy to be back.
I'm following you. Yay! Indigo! This is what we're gonna do. I'm coming.
You gotta warp this. You gotta beam this. Let's do it.
You might remember this warp from last year, which I dyed during our Painted Warps workshop here at the studio. Unfortunately, because of my school schedule, I never got around to weaving this warp, and it's just been sitting on my shelf for the entire year. So I decided to bring it with me on this trip to finally weave it. After beaming the warp using Kenzo's tabletop threading system, I threaded the warp onto a Saori loom. But not just any loom, I'm using the 4-harness loom again. But this time I'm doing things a little bit differently than I did last year. Last year I played around with a super random threading pattern, and this year I'm going to thread the loom with a consistent point draw threading and play around instead with random weave structures throughout the project. So stay tuned to see how all of that turns out. We then set up the patio for the day's event. Suzanne invited all of her regular weavers to bring what they've been working on for the past year.
Should we crack open one of our wines?
Yes.
I'll listen to you.
And then we spent the afternoon oohing and awing over everyone's absolutely gorgeous fabrics. again. It's the end of my really long but really beautiful day. A group of us just went to dinner at like a local spot here by the beach, and unfortunately I just like completely forgot to film it. Like I was just having so much fun chatting and catching up with everyone that I just like totally forgot about the phone, so sorry about that. Anyway, I'm just heading back to my hotel room and I will see you bright and early tomorrow for our dyeing day. Good morning, happy Tuesday. It is a beautiful day today and I'm just heading in the direction of the studio. I'm gonna grab some breakfast, gonna grab some coffee, and then I'm gonna get ready for our day of dyeing today, which I'm so excited about. I packed a very simple, entirely black outfit just so I had something that I could like cover and dye and it wouldn't totally mess up. And I just feel so weird because it's so like bright and happy and sunny here and I'm just like dark. Anyway, let's get this day started. Welcome to our patio Indigo Dye Studio. Indigo dye is a natural dye extracted from the leaves of the indigo plant, and it's been used to dye things blue for over 6,000 years. Turning an indigo plant into a dye material is a complicated and challenging process, but Suzanne so kindly put in an enormous amount of work to prepare all the dye vats for us ahead of the workshop, so we didn't have to worry about any of the technical stuff and could just have a wonderful day turning things blue. For the most part, everyone was dyeing materials to weave with. So most of us had undyed cotton and bamboo warps that Suzanne had prepared for us, as well as skeins of yarn, plain white clothes, and fabrics to turn blue. Then we started dipping. Suzanne very kindly gifted me one of her warps, which absolutely made my day. For this warp, I decided to tie up random parts of it using gardening tape. The idea is that when the warp is submerged, everything will turn blue except for the tape parts. So when this warp is on the loom, it should create some really cool fabric effects. One really cool thing about indigo is that the blue color results from an oxidation reaction, so when you first remove an item from the dye bath, it's not blue at all, it's actually bright green. And as the material contacts the air and the reaction can take place, it becomes more and more blue, which is just so much fun to watch because it really feels like magic. Here are the other items that I brought to dye. I dug around my closet to find some cellulose-based items that I liked, but would like a lot more if they were blue. For this linen button down, I tied up the whole thing using some teeny tiny hair elastics. I didn't really have a plan of any kind and just kind of went for it, tying it up super randomly just to see what would happen. I just think this color transformation is so mesmerizing. I also randomly tied up my t-shirt into this unicorn horn structure. I had no clue how this was gonna turn out, but I ended up really loving it. Hello again. I am heading home. It's about 9 o'clock. We spent literally all day in the studio. My hands are bright blue and yeah, it's just been like an absolutely perfect day overall. I'm just gonna go find a very late dinner and then go to bed, and then tomorrow the fun continues, so I'll see you then. Good morning, happy Wednesday. I'm making my way to the studio, walking along the beach, which is just like the most perfect way to start a day. And today should be just like a really fun, really chill, like everyone's coming to the studio to just hang out kind of day. And that's like exactly what I need. I'm gonna work on that warp that I put on Monday and then just hang out and have a good time. Also, my hands are definitely still stained blue. It's mostly my fingernails and it's definitely giving like zombie witch vibes, which would be fun if it didn't also look very like sickly. So I'm just gonna work on continuing to scrub this. I've scrubbed my hands so many times and I'm just gonna keep doing that and hope that it'll come out. Anyway, let's go. Today, Megan was working the store. She's one of the store owners and I was so happy to see her again. Wait, give me a little twirl. Do a little like fashion show twirl. Look at you. That's so cute. I want one of these. Here's our little makeshift hula hoop dry rack. And you can see some more things from yesterday. That one in the back is my shirt, which I'm so excited about. And then my warp and some other warps we dyed. It's all beautiful and blue. And then I worked on my hand-dyed warp. When I was preparing my weaving stuff, Suzanne quietly walked by and dropped off these 3 cones, then walked away without saying anything. So I took the hint and I decided to use them as my weft. Since this warp was only 3 meters long, I decided to make it into a scarf so I could have fun wearing all of these bright colors. And to make it even more fun, I decided to start and end my project with some finger fringes, which is one of my favorite weaving techniques. So I tied my warp so that the warp was divided into little sections, and then I wove each section of warp as if it was its own tiny little weaving. Nadine, one of the studio regulars, also surprised me with this absolutely gorgeous pair of shoes. And the laces matched my warp perfectly, which made me so happy.
We match!
Then we all spent the day weaving and chatting and enjoying the sunshine. While I was weaving, I was mostly using plain weave like you would on a normal 2-harness Saori loom. But every now and then, I threw in a little bit of a diamond pattern using the 4 harnesses just to add something extra and fun to this fabric. I also worked on untying my indigo dyed linen shirt, which took a super long time. But I do think all the effort was worth it. And I'm so excited about how it turned out. After everyone else had left for the day, Megan, Elena, Suzanne, and I stayed late to hang out and keep working on our projects.
Cheers.
I ended up making some really good progress on my scarf. I like you making the warp with like our stuff swaying gently in the background.
Stella! Hello! It's so nice to see you again!
And petting Megan's cat was a perfect way to end the day. Good morning, happy Thursday. I've spent my morning just like walking on the beach. I got some coffee, I got some breakfast, and now I'm heading to the studio for another day of just like hanging out and social weaving, and I'm so excited. Also, just a hand update. As of now, only my nails are blue, but it just looks like a really, really terrible manicure, which I guess is better than like my whole hands being blue, but still not great.
Yeah, not great.
Anyway, let's go weave. Oh, also, I realized I never actually showed you what I brought for my portion of like the show and tell fashion show, so let me show you those really quick. You might recognize this jacket from my mermaid parade video from earlier this summer. I made this fabric using yarn scraps from my stash, and I sewed it using a pattern from the Saori Black Book. This has to be one of my favorite shaped garments that I've made in a while, and I brought it to show Suzanne in case she wants to make this sewing pattern with her weavers. This is a top that I made back in January. I wove this fabric during my winter break when I just needed a fun, relaxing, stress relief project after my intense semester. Then I cut it up and I sewed it into this extremely simple boxy top, which is just a bunch of rectangles sewn together. And my last piece is from another one of my recent YouTube videos. This scrappy jacket was made from discarded fashion industry yarn swatches. I tied all of the swatches together and then I wove them in a clasp weft with some black bamboo yarn. Then I sewed the fabric into this super simple boxy jacket. Anyway, let's set up the patio for weaving. Here's my warp that I've been working on, and I'm actually almost done with it. That's the end of the warp, kind of creeping up closer and closer to the harnesses. So I'm pretty much just gonna spend the rest of the day working on doing another set of the finger fringes, just so this scarf has like two sides that are all finger fringed up and super cute. So yeah, let's do that. Then our weavers arrived, as well as a special guest. I'm having him up, I'm sorry. Hi. I'm so happy to see you. Hi, Reese. And then we had another beautiful day of patio weaving. Literally the entire day working on just this final foot of weaving. But I was having a lot of fun because I really love this technique. After I took my scarf off the loom, I tied up some of the fringe, I braided others, I cut some, and I left some long, and then my scarf was done. At this time, I really wasn't sure what I thought about this scarf, but it's definitely grown on me since. Also, it's kind of fun that you can pop sections of the fabric through all of the little holes. At the end of the day, a group of us headed over to a nearby speakeasy tiki lounge that was so much fun. Megan and her boyfriend Dylan took me out for tacos, and I have literally been dreaming about these tacos ever since. I got a surf and turf and a shrimp and chorizo, and they were just amazing. Good morning, happy Friday. Today I'm wearing the indigo shirt that I dyed myself. I have my backpack filled with all of my garments and my handwoven fabrics, and I'm currently heading to our off-site location for our sewing workshop today. Today's gonna be all about transforming our handwoven fabrics into some fun summer tops, so hopefully by the end of the day today we're gonna have a group of ladies with a whole bunch of really fun new garments, and I'm really excited about that, so let's go. For this workshop, my goal was to help everyone make progress on their garments. I definitely felt like Tim Gunn from Project Runway. This is the fabric that I brought to work with. This fabric was woven with only one yarn for both the warp and the weft as part of a weaving challenge. As you might expect, I have a YouTube video about the making of this fabric if you're interested in learning more. I wanted to make some kind of flowy, boxy top out of this fabric just to help the weave really shine. So I started cutting things out and finishing the cut edges of the fabric on the sewing machine in between helping others make their garments. These candies. Woo! Hello again. It is much later in the day. I think it's almost like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I just got back from our sewing workshop and our dinner that we had afterwards. And overall, it was a really good day. I spent most of my time there just kind of like helping everyone else make their plans and make their garments. So I didn't actually really get that much time to work on my own. I pretty much just cut out the pieces of my fabric, and I figured I'm still awake. Let's do some sewing. Good morning, happy Saturday. So today is my last official day at the studio, and I think it's just gonna be kind of like a catch-all day for everyone to just kind of work on whatever they want to work on to wrap up the week. So last night you saw me attempt to sew, and unfortunately things just like weren't really working out in my favor. I think I was just too tired at the end of the long day of the workshop to like cut my pattern pieces, so things were just not proportionally working out, and I'm hoping that there are some magical fixes that Suzanne can help me work out today. As you can imagine, I'm just like really stressed out about things not working out because I only have that one piece of fabric and I really love that piece of fabric, and it would be such a shame to mess it up. So I'm crossing my fingers, I'm hoping for the best. I also was hoping to maybe make some progress on my indigo dyed warp, and then to just like help other people work on their sewing and their weaving and just kind of hang out. It should just be like a really fun and really chill day. So yeah, I'm just sitting here waiting with the sewing machine for the yarn store to open, and then our day is gonna begin. And then Jancy came to my rescue. Jancy is known amongst the patio weavers for being excellent at clothing design and construction, and she helped me troubleshoot my miscalculations and find ways to adjust what I already had to make something cute and to save my precious fabric.
Oh,
A good solution.
I feel so much better already.
And I love how this top turned out. I still need to fix the fringe, but I'll deal with that another time. I'm just so relieved. Thank you, Jancy. Go for it. Give me a twirl. Yay! And then we just kept on weaving. I also threaded that warp that I indigo dyed earlier on in the week, and I thought, would it be crazy if I threaded this and wove the whole project in only one day? A few hours later, my loom was threaded and I was ready to start weaving. For my weft, I chose 2 natural undyed cones of cotton, one smooth and one slubby, and I also included my own indigo dyed cotton, and I just got going. I wasn't trying to weave quickly or to rush through this project, but it ended up coming together so fast. I think it's just because I wasn't doing anything fancy at all with my weft, except for occasionally switching between the 3 yarns, which I kept simple because I really wanted my hand-dyed warp to shine. I think it also just went so quickly because I was having so much fun. So by the end of the day, I finished weaving my whole 3-meter warp, and I love it. Okay, we're not gonna do that like satisfying cut just because I want to save all this beautiful warp. I don't want any of it to go to waste. Starting and finishing this project felt like a perfect way to end this week of Wabi Sabi weaving adventures. After cleaning up, it was sadly time to say goodbye to the studio, goodbye to Suzanne, and goodbye to the Needlecraft Cottage. Until we meet again. Visiting Wabi Sabi weaving again was such a joy, and I'm so thankful for Suzanne and her friendship and her kindness and her generosity. Suzanne has taught me so much, and she's built such an incredible community of inspiring, creative people, and I'm so thankful for the chance to be a part of it. If you're interested in experiencing the patio for yourself, I'll leave a link to Suzanne's contact info in this video's description. And if you like this video, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons to help support me and my channel. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!